Hey guys, and welcome to Field Notes. A few weekends ago, the United States celebrated 100 years of national parks. One out of the many gifts the national parks has given us is CRM, or Cultural Resource Management. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about what the heck CRM is, which is possibly just to say that CRM answers the age-old question of what do I do with my anthropology degree? Cultural Resource Management is a pretty broad term that really at the root of it is just the way that people try to preserve and protect cultural and historic stuff. Like I said, CRM got its start in national parks, and in the 1970s, the National Park Service actually coined the phrase cultural resource. At this time, there was quite a bit of growing concern about protecting our nation's history, and this resulted in quite a bit of legislation being passed. Before the 1970s, there was some movement on trying to protect and preserve historic artifacts and sites, and this was the Antiquities Act of 1906. This was the law that kind of started it all, so it's important in that sense. It unfortunately didn't really stop people from looting sites for profit, however. After a couple of really bad trials, the judges ruled that the act was too vague and therefore was unenforceable. From there, several more laws were put in place to restrict and strengthen the protection of these sites. Before we start to get a little too deep into laws and regulations, I have a book. This details every law and regulation involved in CRM. It's kind of large. And we don't really have time to go over it. So if you would like a more detailed discussion about the laws and regulations, head on over to my blog, where there will be a blog post talking specifically about the laws. One of the more common tasks someone working in CRM will do is put together a proposal for something to be put on the National Register of Historic Places. This is essentially just a long list of buildings, sites, artifacts that are protected by these federal laws. Now, anybody can prepare a National Register nomination, but they do have pretty strict rules about how it's presented. So a lot of the time, you're better off just hiring a historian or an archaeology consultant or CRM firm to do it for you. So the first step to getting on the National Register of Historic Places is to complete this form. And this form tells the committee where the site is and why it's important. Once you've filled out this form, it is sent to the State Historic Preservation Office, or SHPO. From there, they may give you some guidance as to how to improve your form, and then they will send it to the State's Historic Review Commission, who will then recommend whether or not it should be sent off to the National Park Service. And then finally, the National Park Service is the one who will approve or deny your nomination. If it is approved, the site is put on the National Register. While a lot on this list tends to be archaeologically based, more modern things are also considered. One of the more popular modern protected sites are examples of famous styles of architecture. In the area where I'm from, we had a very famous architect by the name of Frank Lloyd Wright. So there are quite a few houses that fall under CRM's domain because they were built by him and exemplify his style. Now, not everything that has meaning to people can be put on the National Register. There are certain things that are exempt, and we will go over those now. First off, it has to be at least 50 years old. Other things that are not typically considered for the National Registry include birthplaces and grave sites of famous people, structures that have been moved from their original location, or reconstructed historic buildings. Unfortunately, a lot of CRM is paperwork, but basically anybody who wants to build something or tear up a property has to go through a permit process, and part of that permitting process is talking with the CRM team. And this is to avoid disturbing either a known site or an expected historic site. A lot of figuring that out is simply scanning through old maps and documents, making sure that it's not recorded somewhere. Because almost everybody has to deal with CRM at some point, a lot of the time CRM people will be on staff with cities or have a specific company that they do contract work with. My alma mater, SIU, actually housed the CRM team for the majority of Southern Illinois. However, they are more rare in university settings. If you are interested in history or anthropology but aren't really sure what you're going to do with that degree, CRM might be a good option to look into. So that is going to be it for today. Remember, I am now on Patreon, so if you like this sort of video, feel free to pop over to my Patreon page, which is linked down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys next time. A few weekends hello, and I've forgotten how I start my videos.
Hi.
Hi. Sometimes I feel like my tongue is going like way faster than the rest of my mouth. It sounds like things just go give you some guidance as to how to improve your nomination form and then send it to the State's Historic Review Commission. It's just, I feel like it's all just a tongue twister. State Historic Preservation Office, State Historic Review Commission.